Love can be blind, but marriage should not be based on a gamble on what someone will become. Marrying potential means that you are committing to someone not for who they are now, but for who you hope they will become in the future. That is fallacy. Today, we are talking about it. Let's have that conversation. See you in a few. Hi, my name is Ndung'u. Karibuni sana to another episode. This is Love and Truth, and we are talking about marrying potential. Is it okay? Let me just ask you, why would you marry someone because of the hope of who they will become? Why would you put your life, your future, based on a possibility that he will become better, that he will do better? Okay. I'm just asking because I understand that you can marry someone with potential who, by the way, as you are getting married now, they are not probably the CEO, the managing director, and in the next 10-15 years, they might be the CEO. That's a good gamble. But why would you marry someone? Because in your own thinking and merits, you feel like they can become better. So you're marrying the future person and not the current person that you're living with. That is what we're talking about when we're talking about marrying potential. I'm going to talk about two things here, and I just want us to understand. One, what is the difference between potential and reality? Potential means dreams, plans, skills, qualities that person could develop. So it's something that might or might not happen. Reality is what they consistently do, how they live now, and their current values. So it's like buying a house for the dream of what it could be after renovations without checking the foundation. So all of us do these things, but we're talking about a marriage. If the foundation is not solid, that house, as much as you can renovate it and be like, oh, it's bad, I can work on it, I can renovate it and improve it and make it better. But the foundation is very shaky, it's not very good. Probably in your dream, you wanted to build a 2-story house, but the foundation of that house cannot handle a 2-story building. It's the same thing with marriage. You can see the potential that your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend has, but that should not merit you to marry them, because we are talking about the possibilities that he might or she might not be. She might be that thing or might not be that thing. So if you marry them because of that possibility of becoming and they don't become, then you will end up frustrated. You will not enjoy the marriage because you've joined in for the happiness probably you will get once this person has actualized their potential. So if they don't actualize their potential, then you will not be happy in the relationship and in the journey of marriage. Why marrying potential can be risky, and I'm just going to mention it very fast. Unrealistic expectations. People don't always grow in the way you imagine. It might be different. I know that a lot of women, when we look at our husbands, when we look at our boyfriends, we see the future that these people can be. Because probably they look like they love children, they can be very good fathers. But is this person ready to handle their own baby? They're very good with handling other people's children because they can handle 2 minutes, 5 minutes of that child, but they cannot handle 3 hours or 10 hours. Now you can imagine if it's in your own home where they have 24 hours, of course they will leave the house to go and look for food and then come back. But the hours that they are in the house, they might not be actively involved in taking up the child and doing things. But you know, when the child is crying, maybe that's a nuisance for them. When you don't give them attention because you are taking care of the child, that is a problem for them. So you also need to be very keen with unrealistic expectations. The other thing is emotional burnout. Constantly waiting for someone to change can lead to resentment. As I said, you want that person to change because you already see the potential. What if that person does not want to change in the near future or in 5 years to come? How long will you wait before you're happy? And you see, that change can take a while, and that will lead to resentment. Misalignment of values. You might be in love with a version of them that doesn't exist, because that version, according to the person who is living the life, you are seeing that possibility, but that person is not living that reality, and they might not see it. It's different when that person is living the reality, but at the same time the potential of growth is within their capability. They can see themselves becoming that thing. If you marry that person, you're marrying a good person who, by the way, sees themselves in that possibility that you are seeing, that potential. But if you're marrying someone who has not seen themselves the way you see them, then that can be an issue, because that version does not exist to them or even to you. It's just in your head. Another thing is stalled personal growth. You may focus so much on fixing them that you neglect your own goals. I know a lot of us ladies have this assumption and hope that by the way, I can help this man change and grow and evolve. There was a friend of mine we were having a conversation with some time back, and she told me that she believes that you can change a person. And I asked her, very well, it is one thing to tell people that you can change a person, but it's another thing to say that, by the way, I created an environment where this person has been changing slowly and drastically. That and the other one are two different things. So as a partner, if you can create room for that person to explore change and growth, then you are the right spouse, and you can marry that person as they grow towards who they ought to become. Remember, you are creating room because that person as well has seen themselves in that reality that you also see, that potential we are talking about. But if that person has not seen that potential, you can nurture and groom it, but that requires you to have a special grace that will help you help that person. So it's not quote unquote dictating to that person, you need to start doing this, you need to start doing this. No, you need a special skill where this person is so comfortable and confident of the love that you have for them that they are willing to actually become better, because every other time you are speaking life into them. When they're making mistakes, you're telling them, no, don't worry, this is just a mistake, you are better than this, you can do better than this, I see you as a better version of yourself, I see this, and if you start doing this, probably it can work for you and it is a good way to go. You know what, if it's investment, the job you're doing is fine, but can we have some investments in real estate, because you're very good with managing this and that, and you see you're helping them grow and becoming and achieving that potential. But you have to know that the reality in the ground is that the person you're marrying or married to or want to marry, the version that you marry now is the version that you have to live with, and you need to create room for them to grow. So if you don't have that capacity to do that, then leave that person alone. When you focus a lot on fixing the person and you don't have time for yourself to develop and improve yourself, then that is not a relationship for you. Because if you help them become better and you are not growing with the person, they will very soon feel like you're pulling them back as much as you are the one who was helping them move. Because now, from the level of growth they are in, you are a stumbling block and you are pulling them down. So you need someone that, as much as you're fixing them, you are both growing together. You are working on yourself on a personal level, even as you help this person become that person that you see them becoming. People's core values and habits are hard to change after their mid-20s, according to psychology. So it is so hard because majority of us are getting into marriage after our mid-20s. Yeah, and those that are getting married early, you find that they struggle a lot, because as much as they are willing to change, there is still that part of they are finding themselves. So it was easy to change someone who married before because they haven't formed themselves 101%. So it is easier, but it is still hard. So what are the signs that you are marrying potential instead of reality? The first thing is you say things like once they become, when they finally 1, 2, 3 things, that means that you're marrying potential. The other thing is you overlook red flags because you see hidden greatness. When someone has a red flag, I usually say this in marriage, a red flag is a red flag. So my question is, even with the red flags, are you willing to walk with that person? Because you might help them, by the way, overcome the challenges that they have. But the truth is, the red flag is there. So do you have the capacity to handle that red flag? And this is the truth, whether that person changes or not. Because they might decide, by the way, I am not changing. Whatever it is that you see as a red flag. So are you still willing to walk years like that with that red flag? So those are some of the things that you need to watch out for. The other thing is you've invested more in their future self than they have. You are so focused on building, growing them than the way they put the investments themselves. When I'm saying this, I know that if you have not invested in someone who has not invested in themselves, you might not understand what I mean. But someone who has invested in someone who you know too well that they are not invested in that future themselves, you understand what I mean. It is draining for you who is investing, because you feel like I cannot continue doing this. And it is draining for you because you're wondering, why can't you put effort? It is about your life. It is about your growth and your greatness. Why does it feel like I am the one doing it for you? I am the one always waking you up to tell you go and do. I am the one who is pushing you to go do. And of course, in marriages, there are those seasons where you actually are the one helping the other person because they cannot see probably what you're seeing. That's okay. But we are talking about where you are the one 101% focused on building, and they never build you, or you never feel like they are putting any effort in return. The other thing is friends and family see you as a mismatch in lifestyle and readiness. That is self-explanatory. However, I want to say this here, that sometimes family can see the person that God has for you as a mismatch, because sometimes we don't get the product that we want, quote unquote. Parents sometimes might have their own expectations of what they want you to be married to, and when you bring a person probably who is God ordained, they don't seem to feel like that person is the right person for you. However, in this particular case that I'm talking about, the family might actually see the mismatch. We have had here and there where we say love is blind, and the blindness of the love comes in because of the pheromones and the hormones that you release, the love hormones that you release when you are in love. They might cloud your judgment because you are forever feeling a type of way that you miss out on some of the things that are core, because you're in love. You don't see a lot of things. When they tell you there's nothing I'm hiding, you don't read a lot into that because you trust them, and the love hormone is encouraging you, by the way, he's a good person. So people around you, your friends, your family, can now see things that you don't see. So if they continually tell you that, by the way, this relationship, it feels one-sided. This man, 1, 2, 3 things are not adding up. This woman, no, you need to sit back, probably think, or invest more time in dating and the likes. So this is what I'm going to say when it comes to this part. It might be that they are fighting your God-ordained partner. So you need to be very in tune with God, so that you are sure that by the way they are not fighting your destiny mate. Again, you need to also be open-minded to listen and to hear. Whether you are in love or not, listen to what people are saying and analyze, because sometimes you are looking at this thing one-sided. As I'm seated here looking at this particular camera that is recording, I cannot see what is behind me. But when you are there watching me, or whoever is taking this video is watching, there is what they can see behind me that I cannot see. So I need to listen to them when they tell me there is a shadow or there is a spider behind you, you need to be careful. But if I'm looking this way, as I'm talking about, I love you, so I'm focused on you, I cannot see the spider. So you need to be open-minded to hear and to listen, not all the time to just follow, but so that you can know, is this a good warning? And is this warning coming from a place of love? Then the other thing I need to also emphasize there is also know the kind of people that are giving you feedback. There are friends who might be jealous of you, so their feedback is they are saying that person is not right for you because they are jealous. But there are friends you trust and know that by the way when this person says this thing, they are true. And I need to sit back and think twice, because they're telling me something that I think should be analyzed a bit more, because this person never lies to me. So you also need to see your parents. Are they people who are not there because they want maybe for you to marry someone based on their financial status, and they feel like the person you have brought does not meet their criteria? So of course for them that is a mismatch. But you need to allow them to tell you, if by the way they are very authentic and they are very truthful, that this person analyze 1, 2, 3 things. Okay, then the last thing is they talk more than they act. This is a very dangerous sign that you're marrying the potential of this person. They talk about what they will do. What in Kenya we say stories za jaba. As you listen to them talk, you might end up buying the idea. But the problem is they never start whatever it is that you have bought. So you're there conflicted. You're there wondering, when will this man or this woman start doing the things that they told me they would do? And you're wondering. But then it is just the potential that you married. Unfortunately, you did not marry the reality. So I need to also caution someone probably that is almost getting into that ditch. Don't marry potential. Marry the reality of the person that you have. If you have already married the potential, it's unfortunate, but because you're there, what can you do to make your life happy and at the same time help this person become that which he needs to become? My plea to someone probably who married potential, I know it can be exhausting, it can be tiresome, but the question at the end of the day is, because we want you to be happy, even as you help your person become that person that you saw. One, is the person in the place where they see themselves as you see them. Because if that thing has not entered them, then it's a waste of time. Settle with who they are now and move on. If they are in a place where they have seen themselves with the potential like you have seen, then first and foremost, help them. But also let it be an initiative that comes from the person as well, and grow together and improve one another. You that saw the potential, create room for that person to evolve and to become that which probably you saw or who God has called them to be. I will say this, choose based on who that person is today and not what they would become. Look for consistent patterns of character, not isolated moments of brilliance. Shared vision and aligned values now that the both of you have, not when things improve. I will ask you questions that I think are important questions you need to ask yourself before committing to potential. If they never change, can you still be happy being with them? Do you respect them for who they are now? The third question, are their actions matching their promises? So that you don't end up at the end of the day being tired of the relationship. Do we share the same core values and lifestyle? And those are questions that I need you to ask yourself, because once you marry someone for potential and these questions, as you answer them, feel like I cannot, then don't settle. But if you feel like you marry potential, because of course all of us have the potential of growing, of improving and changing and all that, but at the end of the day, if these questions are, I am okay, I will love him and I will be happy if he doesn't change, and all these things, and they are all in terms of like the things I can deal with, then as much as you're marrying the potential of who they could become, then that is a good person, because as of now, you will be comfortable with who they are. For spiritual basis, Amos 3:3 talks about two cannot walk together unless they agree. So for as long as you're not in agreement with a few things, or majority of the things, matters moral, matters character, matters lifestyle, then you cannot go together, and there is nowhere you will be able to walk together, because you shall be full of disagreements, because of course you don't agree on a lot of things. Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart. And out of our hearts, the Bible says, comes all the issues of life. So if you don't guard your heart, especially in a marriage and in relating with a spouse or a partner, it really affects who you become. You begin to have trust issues. Probably you decide you're never getting married again. You decide this relationship did not work, and because you were just there for a few years, then you end up being frustrated, changing all matters about your life just based on a relationship that was wrong, because you just settled for potential. Marriage is a covenant between two whole people, not a construction project. Any person that you marry, they are whole, they are 100. This story of my better half, they are not half, quote unquote, in terms of like the way you have a full pie and it is half. It is a whole full pie with another full pie that forms a whole person. So when you're talking about the half that you're talking about, it's not that the pie is cut. It is a full pie that is a half, and a full pie that is a half that makes a whole person and a whole human being. So don't be there talking about this person is a half and I am the other half. No, that person should be complete. So when you're coming into marriage, it is not construction project, my friend. You need to figure out that you are whole and complete before you get into marriage. Growth is good, but your commitment should be to who they are now. It is not about the growth that they will get. So don't just choose someone who can grow. Choose someone who's already growing. Okay. The other thing is, love should inspire, not require a complete personality overhaul. So you don't have to like get a complete personality overhaul. It is just love inspires you, and that is all. So when we're talking about don't marry potential, it is not that we don't want you to marry that person that you love. It is not bad to see potential. I am a working project. The person I was when I was getting into marriage is not the person I am today. But if Peter married me because of who probably he expects me to become, then he will miss out on who I am, because I will be a mistake. Everything I will be doing will be wrong according to him, because in his mind I am a future aspect of another person. But if he loves me for who I am, when I continue growing, he loves me more because I am evolving and becoming a better version of the Marion he married. And that is how it's supposed to be. So as much as we all have the potential to grow, evolve, become better, that should not be the reason why someone will marry you. Don't marry someone because you are there thinking that right now they are growing to become celebrities. So once they become celebrities, you guys will be having endorsement deals and everything. Because tomorrow that person might decide, by then I'm stopping the influencer thing, and you married them because you want that influence to help your relationship, or maybe you have ganged and planned your future based on the influence that this person was to bring in your life. Probably you married them because you feel like the influence this person has will have a positive impact on my business. So what if they decide they're not continuing to influence tomorrow? Or something happens, whatever was causing them to influence now is either gone or things change. You have lost your future that you had in mind that this person would help, and that person has also lost the place they had in your life because their importance now is stripped off because now you don't see their value. And that will cause you to resent that person. So I hope I'm making sense. Marry the person for who they are now. But in this channel, we are allowing us to grow and become better. Don't settle for small, because we have said that people settle for who you are. Create room for improvement, become better.